What's up, everybody? This is Zach with NerdK Plus for March 20th, 2018. And today's show is brought to you by GameFly. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. Little housekeeping things. You can check out the show on YouTube, over on Facebook, Twitch, pretty much anywhere that has video on demand and everything. You can also get it in podcast form over on Apple Podcast, Stitcher Radio, Spotify. It's everywhere. You can check it out all nice and edited. Nothing crazy, nothing like that. And it's all free. So check it out. Get your dose of video game news each and every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. So let's jump into what is the news. EA has created an accessibility portal for disabled players. Electronic Arts has made a portal website catered to guiding disabled gamers. EA has had posts about helping disabled gamers on their title's website, but this new portal puts all the informational eggs in one basket. For those with medical differences, game accessibility means pulling down barriers that are preventing play. EA Sports accessibility lead Karen Stevens writes in a post, the accessibility portal site has been created to better serve the diverse needs. The portal is intended to act as a complement to the official game's pages, making it easier to find what accessibility specific features and resources are available across the games. There are currently 3 games on the accessibility site: UFC 3, Madden NFL 18, and NHL 18. Each title lists ways to help various types of disabilities, including color blindness and blindness, the latter of which has instructions detailing the number of buttons or joysticks directional presses to access parts of the game. I love that EA is making more of their titles accessible for people that have different needs. I think this is something that more and more games are going to need to step up what they're doing, because there are so many people out there that take joy in games, that are born with different things, or things happen in their lives and cause different things. And this is just another way for people to still enjoy what is a fun thing in their life. So I love that EA is doing this, and yes, you could look at it as, oh, EA is, trying to get good PR and all of that. But I think this is just people just being decent people, and I love that they're doing this, especially on 3 of their big, huge sports titles: UFC 3, Madden 18, and NHL 18. I know NHL, you can pretty much make it into a 2-button press mode. So I think this is a really good thing that they're doing, and I'm glad that they're doing it. Far Cry 5 has cosmetic-only microtransactions. That's more microtransactions than I like, but, whatever. That's just me. I'm over here on my own little island hating on microtransactions. The campaign will also be playable offline. Far Cry 5 will ship with microtransactions, albeit only for cosmetic items. Ubisoft PR confirmed the news to GameSpot, saying that the microtransactions will be available in the game's single-player, co-op, and head-to-head multiplayer modes. Players can opt to speed up their progression with microtransactions, but Ubisoft has confirmed that they will not affect actual gameplay. Furthermore, Far Cry 5 executive producer Dan Hay confirmed that the game's single-player campaign will be fully playable offline. With that, I'm glad that they're making the game where you can play it completely offline. There's a lot of people that don't have extremely fast internet, that don't have that capability, and being able to get the game and actually play it without being connected to the internet is a big deal these days, because there's so many games that have day one patches that are like 50 gigabytes, and you can't play the game until you get it. I think that's ridiculous, and I'm glad to see that Far Cry 5 is going to have that. Microtransactions, I'm not excited about. I know people are like, oh, well, it's not pay to win and all of that. It's better than what EA did with Star Wars Battlefront 2. Well, at this point in time, it's kind of like, yeah, and we're still paying for more than... I'm not getting on that. Anyway, so there you go. I'm glad that you can play it offline. I don't like the microtransactions, but, if you're into microtransactions, there you go. And I know a lot of people are like, he's never going to let this go, and I'm not. I'm not ever going to let that go. Fortnite is already the second highest grossing game on iOS. Fortnite on mobile has only started releasing invites to early access, but it's already a huge success. Along with topping the App Store's charts as the top free game, Fortnite has already hit the number 2 spot of top grossing games on Apple's products. Candy Crush Saga still clings to the top overall spot, but Fortnite has surpassed games like Clash of Clans, Clash Royale, and Pokemon Go on its way up the ladder. According to Apple's iTunes charts, the Battle Royale behemoth is the 4th highest grossing app throughout the entire App Store, only eclipsed by Netflix, Pandora, and Candy Crush Saga. Now, that's awesome. It started coming out, and I think people are really digging it. I know the next story kind of goes hand in hand with it. Even the title of the show kind of goes with it and everything. But the thing is when we deal with all of these mobile apps and everything, it's another way to access the game, and I think that's a big part of it. And I know we have a question, and we'll get to that in just a second. So I'm going to go ahead and read the next story. PUBG Mobile launches internationally, and I know PUBG launched over, I think, in China for months. Has been over there. And then Fortnite came out, and they were kind of like, all right, boom, here it is internationally. PlayerUnknown's Battleground Mobile has been released worldwide. Following positive beta feedback, PUBG Corp had announced the mobile version of the popular multiplayer game developed by Tencent and PUBG Corp is available in many regions around the world on iOS and Android devices. The game's Android beta test began March 15th, with an iOS beta following right after March 16th. After plenty of positive feedback from players, Tencent and PUBG Corp officially launched the title today, which was yesterday. More region will be added at a later time. We're working hard to create an authentic PUBG mobile experience that players new and old will love, Shin Jerry said, corporate vice president of Tencent and president of Lightspeed and Quantum Studios Group. A lot went into the controls and optimization to give players a smooth and intuitive experience. You can download PUBG on PC, Xbox One, and now on your phone and everything. And having both of those out there definitely creates a Fortnite and PUBG are those two games that are kind of going back to games that are pretty much kind of like doing the same thing. I know GTA introduced a Battle Royale mode pretty early on after Fortnite and PUBG kind of took off. And I think that's one of the bigger modes now on GTA and everything. I think that some will be successful. It's kind of like open world games. Like everybody makes an open world game at this point in time, and some are successful and some are not. Just like the first person shooters, a lot of people started making first person shooters after Call of Duty was successful. So I think we're going to see a lot of clones to this, but I don't think we'll see very many. At most, we'll probably see one or two more that will be successful, but I don't think they will be on the same tier as PUBG or Fortnite. That's just me thinking of it. I know Call of Duty had said last week that they are looking into potentially doing something like that. I'm curious to see what they do. If they do it with Black Ops 4, I think it would be the right time if they were going to do something, because any longer you're going to start getting to the point where these games are old news, and there's going to be Red Dead coming out and all of that. So I know Red Dead is going to be implementing that as well, because they had already talked about it. So you're going to see a lot of clones coming out. I'm not sure that a lot of them will be successful ones. So there you go. Thank you, Derek, for the question. I appreciate it, my bro. All right, so those have launched internationally. You can get those now. PUBG is open for everybody. I think you have to have a code or some kind of access to get Fortnite right now, but you can check out both of those. In other news, Lego The Incredibles is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. We already thought we'd be getting a PS4 Lego game based on the upcoming Pixar film, The Incredibles. Now the first Lego sets for the film confirmed that a Lego Incredibles PS4 game is indeed happening. A Reddit user posted a photo of an image found in the instructions for one of the new sets, and lo and behold, it shows the new game is coming to PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. I love it. I'm ready to jump into it. I'm curious to see if it's going to have just the second movie storyline, or if it's going to have the first one as well. If it has the first one, maybe have something where it's when they're younger, Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl are younger and everything, like before they have the kids. I think that would be cool. And then flash forward to where they're flash forward to where they are now and into the second movie or whatever. I think that would be an awesome way to make a storyline. But I'm glad to see the Incredibles coming. I think that's going to be an awesome addition to the Lego games and everything. They've done awesome with the DC games and the Marvel superhero games. So this is a no-brainer at this point in time. Vivendi, and I know if Derek's still watching, I threw one out to put this one in there because I thought it was a very big story, and we were reported on it several times. Vivendi's attempt at a hostile takeover of Ubisoft is now over. Ubisoft appears to have avoided the hostile takeover the company's bosses and workers have been fearing from the conglomerate Vivendi for the past 3 years. The mega publisher announced today that Vivendi will sell off all its existing shares in Ubisoft and agreed not to acquire any more for the next 5 years. In another twist, China's biggest game company and Ontario's teachers will now have a stake in the maker of Assassin's Creed, Splinter Cell, and Tom Clancy's games. The evolution in our shareholding is great news for Ubisoft, Guillemot said in a statement to shareholders. It was made possible thanks to the outstanding execution of our strategy and divisive support of Ubisoft's talents, players, and shareholders. I would like to warmly thank them all. He also noted that the partnership with Tencent would allow it to accelerate its efforts to bring Ubisoft's games to China. Now, Tencent is such a huge company. Like, I don't think people realize how big Tencent is, and it's not just a game publisher. It has its hands in a lot of different pots. They even, you've heard me say Tencent just in this episode because they own PUBG. So they are very, very powerful, very, very influential, and have a lot of money. So I'm curious to see if this down the road, within 10 years, doesn't come back and bite Ubisoft in the butt. Because once somebody gets a taste of something, they usually want to have more of it if they like it. So Tencent, I can see down the road, they've avoided the Vivendi takeover and everything. I think now they're going to have to worry about their new partners, which is Tencent. That's just my thought process. I'm glad that they're going to be safe for a little while from Vivendi and everything. I know that was a big, big concern for them, but I think at this point in time, they're going to be looking at something that is going to be even harder to avoid, and that's Tencent, because they've got deep, deep pockets. Derek Daniel asked us a question, since we're talking about Ubisoft. He said, well, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered did end up launching today with barely any fanfare. I know it's a remaster, but with only the announcement trailer and then nothing until launch, you would think with the resources Ubisoft used for this, they would actually want to give the game a proper second chance. Do you think Ubisoft just did this to piggyback off Origin's success? I think... And I know Ubisoft has a lot of people working for them in different parts of the world and different studios and everything. I think they wanted to give Rogue a chance to reach people that hadn't played it. I know it came out at the same time Black Flag did, and I got Rogue. I rented it from GameFly. And I played like 30 minutes, and then I didn't play it for the next 2 months and then sent the game back. Not that it was a bad game, but I was playing Black Flag at that point in time, and it was on the new console because the PlayStation 4 just launched and everything. And I wasn't about to go back and spend couple 8 hours, 10 hours on the game and everything. I've read some reviews, I watched some reviews and everything, and the game looks really good. It definitely goes back to the old style of Assassin's Creed games with the pairing and all of that kind of stuff, which I think after playing Assassin's Creed Origins is a little hard to get used to because it's such a different style and everything. But I think that if you're wanting more Assassin's Creed and you want a totally different story and everything, because it does take a different viewpoint altogether, I think that's an awesome way to do it. I'm curious to see why they didn't, pump it out, because I think that they didn't want to take away from the success of Origins, because DLC has been coming out pretty regularly for that. I want to say last week or the week before that, a new DLC for Assassin's Creed Origins came out. But this is a totally new game. They remastered it and everything, so I'm not sure why they didn't push anything towards it. I just find that very odd for them, since they poured money into it, so they paid people to make the game, so why not market it in some way? Maybe they were distracted with the Vivendi thing and everything. So I'm not really sure on that. It is one game that I will eventually check out, but I'm not going to check out right now because I just finished Assassin's Creed Origins. I know. It's been months, and I'm sure people that have been watching the show or listening to the show is like, they finally finished it. Speaking of GameFly, for the listeners of Nerdcade Plus, GameFly is offering you a free 30-day trial. Free. And give you an opportunity to check out any game that you want on their service. Now, I've used GameFly, probably about 10 years now. And that sounds crazy, but I have. I've used it about 10 years now. It has saved me so much money. Highly suggest it. They've got over how many? Look, 8,000. I was going to totally blow that out of the water. But they've got about 8,000 choices of different selections of games and everything, going all the way back to PlayStation 2, GameCube, PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox. So all the way back to there, what they consider classic. That makes me feel so old when I hear that. But it's a great service. You get a game, they send it to you, you get play it. There's no late fees. When you get done with it, you send it back, you get another game. So if you're good at it, you can get pretty much 2 games in a month, but you got to play a lot. But it is an awesome way to get a game that you probably weren't going to check out, like Sea of Thieves. If you weren't going to check out that way, you can check it out this way. You can just there you go. There's some Sea of Thieves if you don't want to do the Game Pass thing. To get the free trial, go over to Assassin's Creed Rogue for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Assault Gunners HD Edition for PlayStation 4 and PC, Attack on Titan 2, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC, Audio Beats for the PlayStation VR, Don't Bite Me, Bro, for the PlayStation 4. I like that. I'm assuming that's some kind of vampire game. Earthlock for the PlayStation 4, Floor Plan for PSVR, Mahjong Gold for PlayStation 4, Minefield PlayStation 4, Neuro Voider for the Vita, Octodron, I guess that's how you say that, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, RBI Baseball 18, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. So you're getting a game before MLB The Show, RIB, RBI, Rib Baseball. Sea of Thieves for the Xbox One and PC, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse for the Switch, The Sims 4 Get to Work expansion, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, South Park, The Fractured Butthole from Dusk Till Casa Bonita DLC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC, Swim Out for the Switch, Tekken 7, Noctis Lucius Calcium Character DLC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and Titan Quest for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And then we have game releases for tomorrow, the 21st. Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja for the Switch. The Count Luciner for Xbox One. Gravel Asinoa, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC. Lunar Stone Origin of Blood, PlayStation VR. Where Are My Friends? PlayStation VR, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. And World of Warriors for the PlayStation 4. So there you go. There are all the weird names for all the games that are coming out. Been playing Sea of Thieves today, and if you're going to play Sea of Thieves, this is just straight up just information that you need to know before you ever pick up a controller. It is not going to tell you diddly squat, like anything. Like, it'll give you like, oh, here is your inventory, and that's literally about it. The rest of it, you're going to have to figure out on your own. And that's okay if you've got time to dedicate to the game. I played it by myself for about an hour or so, and the game, like the graphics and everything are great, but this game is definitely built for more than one person. It would be a lot more interesting with more people, and I think that's what they definitely tried to do. It's a little convoluted in some areas, but I think it's definitely something. If you've got an Xbox One, get the free 14-day trial or whatever it is of Xbox Game Pass. Try it out. See if you like it. And if you do, then boom, you got 14 days for free. I think that's great. So that's a way to definitely check it out. See if you like the game, and see if you like Game Pass. And that's one thing that I'm going to be checking out is Game Pass, because there's more than just Sea of Thieves on the Game Pass, and having more of the first-party games available on the Game Pass is just it's just like $10 a month. Like, that's great. That's definitely going to be the way I play State of Decay, and eventually, whenever Crackdown 3 is going to come out, whenever you get your date with that, Microsoft. So, but I'm enjoying Sea of Thieves. I don't think I would pay for it though, like actually like the actual price and everything. But that's just me. I know a lot of people are really, really excited for it, played the beta, played the alpha and everything. Just the little bit I played, like, yes, it's fun. There's a lot of stuff that I've got to figure out still with it. But it does have a lot of depth to it, I think. But the world does feel a little empty to my taste. Going from Assassin's Creed, which I mentioned earlier in the show, I did finish Assassin's Creed today, Assassin's Creed Origins, and here's my non-spoiler kind of like hot take, if you will, for Assassin's Creed Origins. I think that Ubisoft having extra time with this game made this game into something that is so much better than its predecessors like Syndicate and even Unity. Those definitely felt like they didn't have enough polish to them. This one had a lot of polish, had a lot of awesome things in there. There's some weird stuff, like almost every NPC, unless it was like a major character, had the same face. And then they would like throw a mop on their head. Like the hair for the NPCs looked really, really bad. I know a lot of that was one of my biggest problems. Like, it just didn't look right at times. I loved that there was some depth to a lot of their side quests. I like that. And there's a ton of stuff to do in the game with side quests, and then finding statues to destroy and everything. So I love like all of that, but that's a lot of busy work. The main story I think is great. Definitely goes hand in hand with history, which I always loved about the Assassin's Creed like franchise. The biggest thing that I have problems with is the end of the story, which I won't go into, but I had some problems with how the story ended, and especially between like a few of the characters. Like, it felt very strange to me. I could see where they're coming from and where they got that conclusion and everything. Just didn't feel right to me. That's just me. I did really enjoy the game, the combat, the changes that they did with it. I love that. I love that they've revamped everything, and actually having it where it is more of an RPG and you have to level up. Yes, that was a huge time sink, but I liked it because it made you experience more of the world where you just didn't get to go past the side missions and everything, because like you had to be either on someone's level or above them to actually be able to like kill them. You might be able to be like one level below them, but if you're 2 levels below somebody, you're gonna die. So I love that there was that element and being able to level up your character and choose your fighting style. I love the armor. I loved like all of that stuff that they did to revamp the series. I think was an awesome thing. So I love that part of it, and I'm glad that they took time to make this a better game than what we've had in the past. So if you haven't played Assassin's Creed Origins, highly suggest it. It was a ton of fun. You could be a gladiator. You could, race chariots. Like, there's so many cool things. And then you get this perfect meld of Egyptian and Roman influences throughout the game. And it was just such a good story. So if you're looking for something that is has an awesome story, that has a lot of depth to it and everything, then you definitely should check out Assassin's Creed Origins. So there you go, guys. There is the show. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please share the show with somebody so they can enjoy it as well. And we are also available on podcast services and video on demand over on YouTube and everything. That's where we have the nice edited version of the show. So definitely check that out. And if you want to support us, other than doing the GameFly and everything offer that we have, you can go over to patreon.com/nerdcave. Check us out there. Toss us a few dollars. Get a lot of stuff early. Get access to a lot of awesome things there. So you can check all of that out there. And definitely come back on Thursday when we have another episode of Nerd Cave Plus and all of that. So I hope that you have an awesome rest of your week. This has been Zach. Now have a week.